to join us today here. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. Certainly, I will get right into a couple of housekeeping, and then we'll get in the swing of things. Please do keep your microphones muted. We'll have the opportunity to be able to verbally engage, but certainly as others are joining, we want to be able to engross in the ongoings of today. So please do keep that, and then we'll share further updates. So over to you, Mrs. Alalade. You're muted.
Thank you again for joining us. This is the OGAV annual event, mother-daughter event. It's a pleasure to have you all here. We're just going to open with a short prayer and we start off. Please let us pray. In Jesus' mighty name, Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for the privilege for us to be here again today. Father, we pray that all that we'll be doing here today, that you take absolute charge in the mighty name of Jesus. As many as those that will be joining, Father, let every one of us live here at the end of this event, rejoicing that we have gained something, and let us be impacted, oh God, by all the speakers and everything that will be happening here today. We pray for the success of this event. Father, to you be all the glory, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Amen. So without much ado, I'm just going to invite, I'm going to introduce the MC for the day. This is a woman. She's a very passionate woman, a very career-driven woman. She's a woman of substance. She is the executive director of long-term care sector in Toronto, Canada. She is very passionate about healthcare and well-being. Her passion for healthcare and well-being cuts across all demographics, particularly women. She's very passionate about women, and this is women's event, as we all know. So she has been advocating for healthcare, for the well-being of women, and for the growth. So that is what brought her here today. She's a passionate woman. She's an advocate for healthcare. So please join me as we give a round of applause for the one and only Abiola Awosanya. Abiola, over to you.
Thank you so very much, Mrs. Alalade. That was a very warm welcome. I appreciate it. As I said to everyone, good day. Thank you for joining us. I'm certainly honored to be your MC for today. We will have a wonderful event this morning. Certainly we thank each and every one of you for joining. We're pleased to be able to welcome those who were able to participate in previous OGAV events, and certainly welcome those who are new to the community. Just a quick, you will learn lots today, but just a quick overview about OGAV. It is Ornaments of Grace and Virtue. It is a Canadian charitable organization, again, passionate about the nurturing, mentoring, empowering of girls to become and remain independent, responsible, and productive young women in our society. So we certainly welcome you all. You can certainly visit the OGAV website at OGAV.org to learn lots and lots more. It's well filled with information to help engage you further beyond just today. So today, we will have the opportunity to engage as a collective together, to be inspired, to have opportunities to support the initiatives through the speakers that we have, the activities that we'll participate in that are planned for today. So we want everyone to really, really engross themselves in the topics that we'll be discussing, and look at how beyond today, how we can participate and continue to grow one another. Yes. We'll have opportunities to win prizes through your participation, but we do need for everyone that is our participants today to go in the chat and add your name and your email address so that we'll be able to connect with you beyond today, and also so that when we need to announce a winner, we can actually send you your prize.
Say thank you to everyone that is here again. My address is going to be very brief because we have quite a bit of items to do on our program. So let me start. So good morning and welcome everyone to OGAV's virtual event. Our mother-daughter event is an annual spring event with an objective to foster good relationship between mother and daughters figures. Mothers and daughters have the opportunity to have a meaningful date to enrich their relationship while celebrating International Women's Day. Together, OGAV felt the need for mother-daughter event in the community where mothers can be empowered through sharing their experiences with other women alongside their daughters in a small group setting. The essence is to give an opportunity for sharing and learning. Last year's event was a virtual event, giving us the opportunity to welcome guests from all over the world. This year is not any different. We are all much better for actualizing the world as a global village. We are closer than we think, really. We have people from all over the world on Zoom with us this morning, from Nigeria in West Africa, UK, Italy, in Europe, and various islands in Caribbean, and across North America. Thank you all for joining us this morning.
Our next opportunity, we have an activity. So I thank everyone that's already had the opportunity to put in their email addresses. I want to give another opportunity now for those who haven't done so yet. Add your name and your email address to the chat. We're going to get into the game. It's going to mean a lot when that happens, but I'll just give you the kind of rules and how we're going to get into this activity. To keep things fun, it's going to be 2 to 3 minutes. We'll play a video. The topic of the video is related to our theme today, Embrace Equity. After the video, there will be 3 questions that will be asked. So for each of those questions, we'll give 1 minute and 1 minute only to respond in the chat as to what you think the answer is. So we'll give you 3 questions. With each question, it'll be multiple choice so that you can select the correct answer. You add the correct answer into the chat. So the first person to put the answer in the chat will win a prize. And what that is a electronic gift card, which we will need to send you via email. Hence why we also need your email address there. And certainly our co-MC, Judith Olumodisi, will announce the winner as well so we can celebrate you. So through this, everyone, please keep your ears peeled, your eyes open, because the right answer is right in front of you in the video. So we'll get right into the first activity here. So add your email addresses if you haven't done so, and thank you to those who have already done that. All right.
You know that little voice in your head? The one that tells you to ignore a tasteless joke.
The one that tells you to keep quiet when a client makes a racist comment.
The little voice that tells you you're not smart enough because English isn't your first language.
Or that it's okay to judge someone for leaving early because they have family commitments.
The one that tells you not to say anything when others are being reduced to stereotypes.
Or that it's not a big deal when everyone's opinion isn't considered.
You may think you're the only one that hears that voice, but that voice also speaks to other people. It says,
You're different.
You're an outsider.
You lack commitment.
Your opinion doesn't matter.
Instead of listening to that little voice, you need to find yours and make it heard. It's time for all of us to speak up. Because when we change the dialogue, we can change our world.
Okay, wonderful. So we'll get right, hope everyone was paying attention. So we'll get right into the questions. Okay, so first question, what does that little voice encourage all those people to do? All those people in the video. A, to ignore the wrongdoings that are happening around them. B, to speak up against wrongdoings, or C, to continue doing their work. I appreciate the enthusiasm in the chat to participate.
Our first speaker today is Ms. Alicia Campbell. She's a best-selling author and a four-time award winner and a senior diversity, equity, and inclusion leader with 10 years of experience in all areas of human resource management and diversity, equity, and inclusion. She's a pioneer in this area, and she leads inclusive employee culture initiatives, optimization projects, and the multi-million-dollar workforce diversity. Her passion for the industry has led her to start her own human resource and consultancy agency called Culture Shift Human Resources. Ms. Campbell uses her experience to help companies attract and retain the best talent while creating diverse workspaces that help businesses progress in their industry. Please let's welcome together Ms. Alicia Campbell.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to be a part of such a wonderful event. So what happens when we begin to give women a voice? We begin to give them power, to yield control over situations, to take dominance, to step into their position. We give them influence, to sway opinion, to sway those who may not have all the information and may need new information. And we give them an opportunity to be in spaces not created for them, but for them to reform what those spaces look like in order to create more equitability. According to a survey conducted by the World Economic Forum, 42% of women feel powerless in their careers. This is significantly higher than men, who report feeling powerless at 23%. Additionally, for those in managerial or senior roles, that figure rises to 56% of women, indicating even those with higher responsibility levels are still likely to experience inequality and in power balance. So when we look at that number and we see that as we strive, as we continue to reach higher in our careers, in our livelihoods, we continue to feel less than, and not that we deserve to be where we are. We don't have or feel the equal opportunity to negotiate salary or to receive promotions, even though we have equal or better qualifications than our peers. We feel excluded from senior decision-making roles due to glass ceilings that limit our career progressions. We face stereotypes where we feel like our capabilities are being judged based on preconceived gender biases. We lose our career acceleration because we are ignored and overlooked for key projects and assignments because of our gender. These percentages we have just spoken about while we don't feel enough, these are the reasons why. This is because the spaces we occupy, they were not made for us. The institutions we work in, we live in, the ones that we, give our love and attention to, were not made to make space for us, to celebrate us, to acknowledge us. and the feelings that we have about ourselves, about other women in the workplace, all stem from how these spaces don't make space for us and don't create and prioritize equity. Underrepresentation of women at top levels of corporate leadership is widespread, with studies finding that only 6% of Fortune 500 CEOs are female. Finding 6% of top Fortune 500 CEOs, Fortune 500 company CEOs are female. What is that telling us? What is that beginning to align to us? That even when we have desires, even when we have goals and ambitions to be CEOs, to be in top level positions, we're not even seeing the representation of ourselves at these seats. We're not even seeing the representation, not only in terms of even color, but even of gender. We're not even seeing women in our most top revered opportunities to then give those up and coming generations to know that they can do it too. So how does this statistic make you feel? Write in the chat, how does this make you feel? Knowing that only 6% of large organizations have a female CEO. How does it make you feel that 56% of women feel powerless in their roles? How does it make you feel to know that women are continually facing barriers and constructions meant to bring them down? Absolutely not great. We need to speak up more. Absolutely. Because we are enough. We, just as who we are, as we present ourselves, is enough. We do no longer need to conform in order to be what our institutions say that we need to be. Just based on who we are alone is enough in order to do incredible things within the world, and we can continue to make incredible impact. So how do we give more than a seat? How do we begin to give more than a seat at the table and to know that we are here and that we are here to make space? First and foremost, we need to get our allies in line, and they need to be creating new standards, and we need to be supporting these new standards that say, by asking themselves, what voice am I not hearing at this table? If you look around yourself and you don't see another woman at that table, you need to be asking, why is there no female representation here? Why is there only men here? Why is there no women of color here? Why is there no women with different disabilities here? We need to be asking these questions, and we need to be challenging the status quo. That is how we drive opportunities for innovative change. That is how we begin to create equity. That is how we begin to experience equality, because we say something and we make the change to make it happen. We need to align on policies that support women and their families. Women are the backbones of our community. When we think about this event right here now, when we think about the incredible volunteers, the board, people who have sacrificed their days to make this event possible, over 50% of those individuals are women. So we need to make sure that we are aligning on policies that support women and their families so that they can continue to breed and continue to give life to the communities, give life to each other, and continue to be where they can help and grow their families and the community as a whole. We need to make sure that we create the space for women to come in exactly as they are, as women, not trying to be more masculine, not trying to be something that they weren't meant to be, but by being everything that they are in their wholeness and giving that gift back to those that they serve. And then we need to create women-focused initiatives that support growth and contribution at all levels and in non-traditional ways. The reason we have to be so focused on women initiatives is because that is not the narrative and that is not the story we have today. It is so important that we force that narrative by making that space, by having women-focused initiatives, just like what the OGAV is doing with menstruation equity. That is forcing a narrative to say there is not enough. We need more. We should have access to these things on a monthly basis that allow us to menstruate in a healthy way. We should not be ashamed of our bodies. We should not be ashamed and scared of the beautiful technology that is within us that allows us to procreate and to create new life. We should have the support in place that allows that to thrive and continue in a healthy and in a safe way. So if we don't take the time to create these initiatives, If we don't take the time to say something and align on these policies, we're not going to continue to see the change that allows women to be in the space that honors them, that respects them, and allows them to thrive every single day.
Our next speaker today is a lawyer with over 10 years of experience practicing family, immigration, and law and estate planning, both in Nigeria and Ontario, Canada. She is a passionate campaigner for equity in the society, especially as it relates to women. Her passion is further exemplified by her advocacy by helping to lift up the voices of the most vulnerable members of our society through her legal practice, as well as motivational speaking. She has participated at various events, especially at elementary schools in Ontario, and also recently at a Black History event organized by the Government of Canada Public Service Black Employees Network. She is a proud mother of 2 kind and happy girls. And her motto is, I like this, always make sure your voice is heard because you matter. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Ms. Boma Enwesi.
Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to join the global community in its celebration of women this month, and it is a pleasure to be here to share my thoughts. I also want to commend the good work and all the various initiatives being carried out by OGAV, and I just want to say well done. For a long time, women have been undervalued and underrepresented in many sectors of the economy, society, and family life. It goes without saying that it's imperative to celebrate the achievements of women as they work to advance various facets of our life and society. Next slide, please. Thank you. Professor Zoe Marks of Harvard said, and I'm paraphrasing, just because things look equal does not mean they are meeting goals of equity. Throughout history, women have been prevented by gender inequity from having means to invent things, to be scientists, and have basically been restricted to quote unquote female jobs, like being a secretary or a teacher. The reality is that most times when women contributed to or originated an idea or an invention, the credit was always given to a man. The sad fact is that historically, women have not been encouraged to be inventors. They've not been encouraged to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, or maths. An example of an invention that a woman created, but for which she did not get the credit, is the double helix structure of the DNA. Rosalind Franklin discovered this model of the DNA, but it's named the Watson-Crick model, named after 2 men. Next slide, please. Another example of historical inequity is that women were not initially allowed to attend university. The first woman to attend university graduated in 1608. Today, about over 20 prominent nations in the world prevent women from getting an education. In Pakistan, Malala Yousafzai, who was 15-year-old at the time, was shot in the head by the Taliban for standing up for the women's right to education. In addition, women were initially restricted to nursing roles during wars, and a lot of women had to disguise themselves in men's military clothing for them to have combat roles. Disguising in order to be treated equitably was common, and it was common worldwide. For example, Dr. James Barry had a distinguished career as an army surgeon from 1813 to 1864. On his death, he was discovered to have been a woman. In Canada, women were first permitted to serve in the military just recently in 1885. Next slide, please. The choices we have today as women have been hard-won. And so it's our responsibility to work to protect the ability for future women and girls to make their own choices and determine their path in life. Next slide, please. Women should support each other through coaching, mentoring, sponsoring, and networking. Women deserve the support they seek. When we apply equity to the mother and daughter relationship, what we're saying is spend adequate time together, create healthy boundaries, and listen to each other. Next slide, please. Equity in a mother and daughter relationship is good to discuss because this whole program we're doing here is for the mother and daughter. Now, while the role of a mother can be about guiding and teaching, as your daughter becomes an adult, it's important to allow her to also share knowledge with you. To facilitate intimate conversations, you can always ask each other, what are the things you really appreciate about each other? What do you wish for the most in the relationship you have with each other? Next slide, please. As mothers, one of our many duties is to encourage our daughters to dream big. We must actively tell them they can do and become whatever they put their efforts into becoming. As mothers, we must encourage our daughters to value their individuality. As mothers, we teach our daughters to expect to be treated with respect. As mothers, we must teach our daughters to be courageous in the face of challenges. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Sorry. Okay. As daughters, we must let our mothers know we love them and appreciate them by saying so. As daughters, we must set out time and attention for our mothers. And as daughters, we must plan to ensure our mothers are comfortable in their old age. Next slide, please. So the importance of women is significant. I mean, we can't discuss the importance of women in just one event. It's priceless. They have made vital contributions to every sector and should be recognized much more than its prevalence. Women deserve to be included in discussions as their opinions matter. Women are resilient. We are the pillar of society. With extraordinary intuitive intelligence and great effort has been made by previous generations to entrench and protect the rights of women and gender equity. The work must continue. It must continue in order to maintain an equitable world for women. Next slide, please. I encourage us to please contribute to women achieving this goal. I encourage us to challenge gender stereotypes and biases that are harmful to women. In line with this year's theme of embracing equity, I encourage us to work together. As an African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, let's go together. Thank you.
So I had the opportunity to kind of hop from room to room for a bit there before settling into the young adults breakout room. There was many great conversations that were taking place. So certainly wonderful to see everyone engaged in the discussions and some questions that were asked by your facilitators. So I will reach out to the facilitators from each group to be able to share, kind of just give us the takeaways from the discussions, and then we'll open up for any further questions for our presenters or just in general for us to be able to answer. So we'll start with the mothers group. We had, I believe, instead of the 4 breakout rooms, we had 3. So I will ask Dr. Felusha Abayomi to start with that breakout room in terms of takeaways and wrap-up discussions.
Thank you, Abiola. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. Thank you for joining also our groups, Group A. We were all mothers and one father. And we had a very engaging conversation. And some of the takeaways are that we need to continue to challenge status quo, just like the speaker said, in our offices, our workplaces, and also at home in our community as well. People were really sharing personal examples as well. We're encouraged also to stand up for ourselves. That's important, that women needs to start standing up for other women. And there were a practical example given by one of the, I think she's a lawyer that was in there, of how they supported women in need. We took a lot of time really to dissect the difference between equality and equity. And someone gave a very wonderful graphic illustration of what it is. And together we agree that it's all about fairness. It's all about giving people what they need to move forward, what they need to succeed. That's what equity is. And we also talk about our role as mothers, some of the things that we have to do, be intentional. When dealing with our daughters, and be mindful of our statements, be good role model to show our daughters that they can do whatever they put their minds to. And that's what I have, very engaging, active participation. Thank you.
We had a really great discussion around equity, different inequities that we've experienced in our own, professional lives and in workplace settings. We talked about, not seeing enough representation at different levels of companies that we've worked at, seeing women be vocal and use their voice and use their power in the workplace settings. We shared personal stories about being the only one in the room and what that looked and felt like. And then we also spoke about just like women having the confidence to be, not only just to show up, but to be confident to do what they want to do. We talked about statistics on how, women, when they look at jobs, they feel like they have to have 100% of the requirements before they apply, but men only feel like they have to meet 40% in order to apply. So this element of confidence is really, really big, because by us saying no before we even go forward is, putting up barriers to opportunities we aren't even aware of yet. So to not only use your voice, but to go after what you want, be confident. And then also to know that not everyone deserves 100% of you. Some people just deserve 20, 30, 40, even 50, but make sure you're giving 100% to yourself first and foremost.
Thank you. And just going to our last group, students. Amanda?
Hi, so in our group, we were focusing, aside knowing that how these gender disparities and inequities affect us, how we can work to reduce these inequities and these gender disparities. And some of the things that we talked about is that how we can contribute our time and effort into various women-focused initiatives. And so some of our members are talking about how they participate in organizations that provide women with sanitary products, or participated in career-oriented organizations that provide women the opportunity to get their resume read over, or to conduct mock interviews, to sort of like provide them and equip them with the tools they need to be successful in these various fields. And aside from that, also talking about that when we enter these spaces, or when we are given the opportunity, knowing that we should be able to speak up and try our best to ensure equity, not only for ourselves, but also for others as well.
It kind of wraps up what we've discussed so far, with the presenters, the reason why we're here, and what's next, right? So certainly when we know that, we do know that there's specific things that we discuss in our breakout rooms about how we can, in terms of next steps of what to do. So at this point, at the beginning, we certainly shared with our campaign video here, but certainly wanted to encourage you all as a call to action to help support this initiative for 2023 with the target of running a camp for 1,000 girls. You saw the pictures from the previous initiative. We certainly want to have that opportunity to have this empowerment camp with the focus on career development and health wellness. Certainly goes along the lines of why we're here, what we need to do, take away from this opportunity, but specifically to really support OGAV in their campaign towards who am I? The theme of this year, Who Am I? It's a career exploration and health wellness a camp. We certainly have various opportunities and ways to be able to donate. There's an e-transfer opportunity just across the globe, no matter where you are in the world, you can certainly support. It can be a little, it can be a lot, certainly. You know, just $40 can go a long way, for example. So we do ask for your support in this. Receipt will be given for those who donate $40 and up. Again, there's an e-transfer opportunity. There's banking, GT Bank in Nigeria. There's a direct deposit. There's also PayPal. OGAV has made it very accessible and easy for us all to be able to support these initiatives for the girls in Nigeria. So we do use this opportunity as a call to action to please do support. You know, we can look at the website ogav.org to be able to get more and more information about the organization as a whole. But certainly, this is why we're here today as well, to empower, inspire, and to just, you know, light the fire under all of us as to what we're going to do next. And part of that is the support that's needed to be able to continue with the initiatives that have been set in place and the work that OGAV is currently doing. So certainly encourage you all, you know, it can be now, it can be after this conference, but certainly take the opportunity to be able to support as you can. We certainly want to encourage everyone, OGAV wants to encourage everyone to become a member, to be able, we have a number of volunteers that do assist, but certainly there are benefits to being a member of OGAV. You attend the biannual meetings to be able to impact some of the decisions that are being taken. You're able to use these skills and passion, some of what we've discussed in our breakout rooms, to help globally, locally, etc. And your voice will, you know, as part of the call to action today, will help shift the direction in developing and implementing initiatives and seeing outcomes and goals that are being achieved in various communities. The membership fee is $10 per month. All the contributions support the girls at risk. Again, you can visit our website at OGAV.org for that opportunity. So not only donate, also be a member. You know, we need extra hands, all hands on deck. All support is great support, and all ideas can help push the initiatives and the goals of OGAV forward to make that necessary impact in the lives of the women and girls. So we certainly appreciate that. Again, just many thanks to those who have donated already, and certainly encouraging everyone, if you're able to state your pledges through the chat, that would be welcomed. And if you have the opportunity to donate right now via e-transfer, which is probably the fastest way to do so, please go ahead and do that as well. So we'll get right into the vote of thanks and wrap up the day. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here today. I'm truly inspired myself and looking forward to many more opportunities to see you all, and also to be able to push the needle on some of the initiatives and the change that we want to see affected.
Thank you, Abiola. What an awesome job that you did. Thank you so much for supporting OGAV. Hi, everyone. Again, I just really want to thank each one of you for being such an amazing audience today and for your active participation and the questions that were asked, the ideas that were shared, the thoughts that you shared in the group. You may not know it. It may be a blessing to someone for sure. So thank you. What I really also want to especially thank all the speakers. That's Ms. Campbell and Ms. Bowman. Thank you for engaging us in a meaningful way today and for pushing us to continue to amplify the issue of gender equity and also to challenge status quo. to the amazing volunteers, because we won't be here without you, all other people behind the scene, all our volunteers, thank you so much. And of course, to OGAV president and executives, all the trustees for your hard work. As a community, we really thank you for providing this space and this opportunity where we can talk about women issue, and most importantly, support our young girls and young women. So we thank you so much. To all our sponsors and everyone that has already donated today, thank you so much. And we know that many more will be donating. Don't forget that you can follow OGAV on Twitter. You can also check them out on the Instagram. The website is a great place to find information about current events and upcoming events. There are a lot of events. I'm hoping next year we get to see each other, hopefully hybrid, where we can see each other face to face. And again, thanks to everyone. Please support as much as possible. Nothing's ever too small. We're all blessed to be a blessing. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. We have now come to the end of the event. We'll see you next year.